Hi everyone, let's talk about threshold tone decay today. So what is threshold tone decay? So the tone is getting decayed. That means there is uh, decay means what? There is some organ or some thing that is getting destroyed slowly, or he's not able to hear properly. That is, suppose he has to hear it, that hearing capacity is getting decayed. The tone is getting decayed. That's why it is called threshold tone decay test. Okay, so this is a measure of nerve fatigue and it is used to detect retrocochlear type of hearing loss. So this threshold tone decay you can associate with the word fatigue, and fatigue is seen, only a nerve can undergo fatigue. So will the cochlea undergo fatigue? No, cochlea will not undergo fatigue. It is the auditory nerve that undergoes fatigue, and that nerve fatigue, to measure it or to diagnose it, you need a test that is called the threshold tone decay. So tone decay is seen in retrocochlear type of hearing loss. So this is TR. TR is like temporary registration. You can remember it like that. It is seen in retrocochlear. RC, recruitment, is seen in cochlear type of hearing loss. So this is the two things that we usually get confused. So what is the principle of the test? The principle of the test says that a normal person can hear a tone continuously for 60 seconds. So if you give a tone, suppose 4000 hertz, then you give the tone to the ear, he can hear it for a complete period of 60 seconds. If he stops hearing it earlier, then we say that the patient has got nerve fatigue. Nerve fatigue, fatigue means decay. Decay is seen in retrocochlear type of hearing loss. For example, acoustic neuroma. Okay, for example, acoustic neuroma. Okay, this is what he is telling. So you are giving a 40 decibel sound at 4000 hertz. He can hear it for an entire period of 60 seconds. So this is how it is represented. Now what is the procedure? Now the same thing in the norm, that was normal. The previous one that we saw was normal. Now we are giving a tone of 4000 hertz. We are giving a tone of 4000 hertz at a decibels of 40 decibels. That is minimum 5 decibels above the patient's hearing threshold for a period of 60 seconds. We want to hear him for a period of 60 seconds. Suppose he is able to hear only for 30 seconds and then he says, I cannot hear. You increase the sound by another 5 decibels. He says, I cannot hear again. Then you increase the sound by another 5 decibels. So you reach a stage where there is no sound above in that machine, that you can't increase the sound beyond that. So in this case, he says, I cannot hear it after like approximately 1/3, that is almost after 20 seconds he can't hear. Then you are raising it to almost 50 decibels. 2 times you have raised it. Then he says, then he hears it for another 20 seconds and says, I can't hear it. You raise it to another 70 decibels. You have to increase it by 20 decibels for him to hear it for another like 10 seconds. After that he can't hear at all. Okay, so you are increasing it to by another 40 decibels. Total, from 40 decibels you have increased it by 70 decibels. In a 5 decibel steps, you say what, 14 times you have increased it in 5 decibel steps, but still he can't hear it. He is not able to make it through. He cannot make it through. He cannot hear the entire 60 seconds. At like another 5 seconds are left, he can hear it only for 55 seconds, even though you have raised the intensity by 70 decibels from the original 40 decibels. Okay, so this is represented as number of decibels of decay. It is decaying, so you are raising it by 70 decibels. So this is called 70 decibels of decay. Anything about 25 decibels of decay is considered diagnostic of retrocochlear type of hearing loss. Okay, so this is what we are trying to tell. If a patient stops hearing earlier, we say this, increased by another 5 decibel steps. This process is continued until he can hear a period of 60 seconds, but continuously for a period of 60 seconds, or no level exists above the threshold where the tone is audible for a full 60 seconds. So here the tone is not audible for a full 50 seconds, even though you have raised it to 70 decibels. Okay, so it is expressed as number of decibels of decay. The decay of more than 25 decibels is diagnostic of retrocochlear lesions. So just a quick recap. A normal person should be able to hear a tone for a complete 60 seconds. In nerve fatigue, then in patient is having what is called tone decay. He cannot hear. It is in a retrocochlear type of hearing loss. Retrocochlear type of hearing loss. He cannot hear for a complete 60 seconds. you give a tone 4000 hertz, if he stops hearing it, you increase by another 5 decibels, and then he hears it for some time, then he says I can't hear, you increase by another 5 decibels. You keep doing it till he can hear for a period of complete 60 seconds. If you have to increase it by from 40, you have to increase it to 65. That is 25 decibels you had to increase the original sound for him to be able to hear for a complete 60 seconds. Then we say he's having 25 decibels of decay. You had to increase it by 25 decibels for him to be able to hear the sound completely for a period of 60 seconds. Okay, that is called 25 decibels of decay. Or in this case, you are increasing, but there is no level above which you can increase. You cannot increase above 110 decibels. The machine can only permit you to increase 1 decibels, and still he cannot hear for a complete 60 seconds. This is called tone decay. It is characteristic of nerve fatigue seen in retrocochlear lesions. Example is acoustic neuroma. Okay, right. Thank you.